biggest pet peeve is when young women say this one phrase: he was a wonderful dad, but a horrible husband. A lot of cognitive dissonance going on here. How can somebody be an amazing, wonderful, benevolent dad and treat the mother of those children terribly? That doesn't make sense. Because if you harm your wife, you harm your children. If your wife is depressed, that affects your children. There's a direct correlation on how a woman is treated during pregnancy and the outcome of her children. Studies show that how a mother's mental health is directly impacts her kids. Your mom is suffering from a chronic illness because she's so stressed from having to take care of the entire house by herself, but he's a great dad. Instead of teaching you algebra, your mom spends day and night in the clinic because your dad can't stop cheating on her. You're not able to play sports or take on other extracurricular activities because your dad is so unwilling to assist with the child rearing. Like, what are we talking about? So no, your dad is a horrible husband and at most an okay father. Sorry, he is not a wonderful, amazing, benevolent father. Those designations are reserved for men who treat their partners well. Bye.
I just came on here to say that you can't be a shitty husband and a good father. Like that, those two cannot coexist at the same time. I'm sorry. And I am living proof of this. You cannot treat your wife like shit and be a loving father. Like, I'm sorry. Like that just doesn't happen. It doesn't even make sense in my head, to be honest. So I don't understand when I see people having kids with these men that treat them like shit and expect them to be good dads. Like, sister, like, please. Which is why I will not be having a child until a man fucking worships the ground I walk on. Because you're not gonna treat me like shit and not treat my kid like shit. Like, I don't believe that. I genuinely don't believe that.
I find it so interesting when people say things like, oh, he's a really good dad, but he's just a terrible boyfriend. Or he's just a terrible husband. Or she's a great mom, but she treats me like crap. Like, no. If you're co-parenting with someone or you have a kid with them, and that other parent treats you terrible, it affects your mental health, which affects your ability to be a good parent, making that other person not a good parent too. Because if you cause your kid not to be parented well, you're not a good parent.
A man can be a great husband and a horrible dad, or a great dad and a horrible husband. In your case, he's not a bad dad. Like, your baby daddy, your ex-husband is not a bad dad. As far as I've known him, he's always taking care of his kids. So, I mean, we're not going to bash him on here, but as far as the significant other,
you were a terrible husband, but you were an excellent father. Maybe you stopped being romantic. Maybe you stopped taking her on dates. Maybe you stopped saying no when she needed it the most. And maybe you let the relationship drift away, but you didn't abandon your kids. You worked longer hours for them. You showed up tired for them. You carried pain in silence for them, and you gave them a life that you never had for them. So yeah, the relationship may have ended, and you own your part in that, okay? You have to still own your part in that, but you are never going to blame yourself for being an excellent father.
One thing about it, you can't be a great father, but a horrible husband. Let's talk about what fatherhood is. Fatherhood is the state, quality, or responsibility of being a father. You have to first go through the woman in order to reach fatherhood, which means you got to do right by her first in order for her to properly bear fruit. It's three main parts to fatherhood. It's nurturing, protection, and guidance. Let's talk about nurturing. How are you properly being a father if you are doing wrong by the one person the child gets their main source of nurturing from? Let's talk about protection. How can you tell your children that you're going to protect them, but you over there misusing and mistreating your wife? You can't even protect your wife from yourself. So why would the children believe that you can protect them? Let's talk about guidance. How you gonna guide your children, but you couldn't even steer your wife and lead her in the right direction like you supposed to? Part of being a parent is being able to teach, leading by example. When they look at you, do you exhibit the qualities of a leader? And when they look at the example that you have given them of leadership, what do they see? So when they ask, can a man be a great father but a horrible husband? The answer is hell no.
Here we go again. So we're back. All right, man, hit the link in the description. Let's talk. So he was a good father, and I've heard women make this statement word for word, verbatim. I've heard them make this statement. He was a good father, but he's a good father, but I mean, it ain't that he's a good father, but he's abusive to me. It's not that he's a good, nah, women are selfish. You know, when you choose to have children, it becomes about the child. And if that man is a good father, and is, you know, that means bills are paid, y'all safe, y'all protected, he there for the children, he don't bring no harm there. You chose to split that monkey open for him and bust all up in it multiple times to get pregnant. So don't sit here and say, well, you know, I just feel I'm not happy. It's not about you being happy. If the kids are happy, the kids are safe, the kids are going to benefit from both of y'all being in a household together. It's about the kids. Y'all make it work for the kids. Y'all make it look like y'all love each other for the kids. Do it for the kids. But you know, a lot of these women be so selfish that they'll sacrifice their family and sacrifice their kids, knowing that they see their friends and they see other women do the same thing, and guess what? They still end up begging their baby daddy for dick. Oh, going back to Dick the Lion, asking him to do shit that, you know, asking him to do shit that he was already doing, but now you thought you was gonna get back out there and be fucking liberated and be happy, and you was just gonna have all these options being a baby mama, putting your kids at a disadvantage, splitting the house up. No, if he was good enough to lay with, he was good enough to shack up with, he good enough for the kids love him, he a good father, stay with him. That's the problem with women today. And by nature, they cowards. They're not supposed to be brave, but they don't never want to stick nothing out. They jump from job to job. They jump from relationship to relationship. Then all niggas ain't shit. No, you was never in. Stop having a foot out the relationship. Stop having a foot out the marriage. You know, stop having an exit plan before you enter. That's crazy. How can you all not trust somebody and not love somebody you had children with or you married, right? And you always thinking about leaving or exiting or something. Ain't nothing out there, dog, but dick. If that. This dude's turning down baby mama pussy now. And then you want him to still, you know, be the man to you that he was doing. No. When you go from under my leadership, my allegiance is to those children. And guess what? If you can't do right by those children, then give them to me. Give them to me. You know? Give them to me. You know, and that's just the God honest truth. That's the God honest truth. Oh man, he's a good father, but man, he doesn't treat. Nah, it ain't that he don't treat. What do women really think is out there for them, dog? Y'all just really want to go out there and just hoe around with all these diseases out here. None of these guys have any intention when they see you a baby mama or you a divorcee and they see that this man did everything for you, the kids well taken care of, and you left him. Dog, do you understand the bro code is to do you dirty? It's to slap you with this sausage and that's it? Y'all understand we get licks back for good men, bro. We know you do the good man dirty, we gonna do you even dirtier just for him to get his lick back. And that's why you see these women talking about, I've been divorced for 10 years and I still ain't had nobody. And they be wanting to get back with they ex-husband, they baby daddy. That's why they always got to continue to sleep with them to have that connection. They be wanting to move on. Stick it out. I don't understand why women, there's nothing out there, especially today. Stick it out. If the kids is happy, the kids love it, put your attitude aside. Put your attitudes aside. Even if you're in a situation, you paying all the bills, and that's how it had been when you got with them and y'all been together. That's what you signed up for. Don't talk about, no, I want to change. Nah, I want to change. Nah, I don't, nah, that's what you signed up for. That's what you signed up for. That was your arrangement. That was your arrangement. That was your arrangement. So now if he a good father and he treats you good, and a lot of times a lot of y'all get mistreated because of y'all. A lot of the treatment is predicated on y'all attitude. If you unappreciative, you always complaining no matter what he do. He comes straight home from work and you make the house a hostile environment with your attitude. You just an unpleasant, unhappy individual. Yeah, stay single. Bitches be like, I'm single and happy. You ain't never happy. You ain't never happy. I'm single and happy. You ain't never happy. That's crazy. I'm single and happy. You ain't never happy. Being a good man and a good father, making sure it's not what do y'all think out there? I don't be getting what women think I did. They get back out there and they get done dirty, rightfully so. And then all men ain't shit. Men are no. You know, I did a short and I might turn it into a full video. It was a lady talking about, oh women want, I think it's a theory, but women want to be with men that's better than them. And the problem is the women are just so much better. Women have a false sense of self-worth. They cannot be honest with themselves. They think they so good and so moral. And they don't even understand guys don't mistreat you out the blue. Especially when guys like you, they don't mistreat you out the blue. That's a fact. These dudes don't be mistreating these women out the blue. If you play silly games, you get silly prizes. So if he doing stuff nice for you and you unappreciative or you always got an attitude, no matter if he talk to you nice, he being understanding, why you always texting me and all that, then guess what? You got a funky, nasty attitude. You always angry. You always got problems. You lazy. You want him to do all this shit, and you don't want to do nothing. Of course, he gonna change. He gonna change the way he feel about you. You know, a lot of these women are insufferable. They're very insufferable. Very. And then they have all these flaws and all these faults and all these issues, and they don't have no friends. And the one guy that's still fucking with them like that, they want to be a bitch to him. They want to be a dick to him, you know. But then everybody else, the problem. No, if he a good father, he a good man. Guess what? How about you elevate your game and be a good woman? How about you elevate your game? How about you match his fly? Because guess what? You get back out there and guys learn that you left a good dude like that and a good father like that. Why would they even think about remotely being cool with you? But then some of y'all want to go out there and all y'all want to do is go get fucked. Y'all just want to get clapped up. That's how y'all end up with all that shit going on. Y'all just want to get clapped up. Y'all just want to sleep around and be miserable. Ain't nothing cool about that. But hey, hit the link in the description, join the Patreon.
And some discourse that I just can't get behind is the whole, he's not a good man, but he is a good father pipeline. What are we doing, queens? The bar is in hell. What do you mean? What do you mean that you have a child with this person and he is not capable of showing his offspring how the woman that risked her life to give them life and to give him a seed should be treated? He can't give a positive example of that, and you think he's a good man? No, the two coincide. I'm sorry. That's just like how you can't be a good man and a bad father. One is defined by the other. Come on, man. See, society has watered down the nuclear family so bad and so far to the point that we are now accepting so much less than what we should be accepting from the family dynamic. Honestly, I blame the lack of community. I really do. Because, listen, I was born and raised on a house built on another woman's tears should not stand, right? They literally will come to y'all with 2 and 3 baby mamas in tow, meaning they done screwed over 2 or 3 different women, right? Or they had poor judgment with 2 or 3 different women and you think that's a king. So you're allowing your daughter to see this is how men should treat you. They should be allowed to run you over, impregnate you, and then dip out. Oh, it didn't work, but at least he shows up for you. Not teaching her that no,
you reproducing should demand a sense of loyalty from this man. It should demand a ring. It should demand a lifelong commitment. It should demand a lot. Only men that are good men are worthy of being fathers. You're teaching your son that it's acceptable how his dad behaved. That's acceptable. That's acceptable that men should be able to reproduce, not treat the mother correctly, and be able to move on and go about life like nothing ever happened. I fear we need to start telling them the truth. I fear that if you end up with the kid, right, and they're only around for the purposes of visitation, and they screwed you over, they cheated on you, they ended the marriage, they ended the relationship, whatever the case is, I feel as though it's responsible to be transparent with the children, because they're going to grow up, and sometimes when they don't have the truth to be attached to, they create their own narratives. They paint whoever they are more attached to, whoever is more friendly with them, whoever they deem to be the victim, but it's based off of non-fact when you don't tell the children the truth. No, daddy left mommy. Daddy cheated on mommy. It wasn't right. It was not right. But et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But be honest. Because if not, you're endangering your children to have to succumb to the same kind of reality and fate. I truly believe this.